that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.
Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast hosted by myself, Graham Spice, and Glenn Cowie, where we discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur with both the match attending and international supporters view. Glenn, I don't need to ask, but how are you doing?
Yeah, good, really good. A range of emotions. Like I said right before we started recording, I don't know if I'll get through this one about getting emotional. It's already starting to happen. I don't know, mate. It's like I just said to Lindsay, this is why you do it. There's always hope, right? And there's always the shit. And there's going back to my old man when he used to say, you know, next time. And
yeah, recall one of the first matches that I took Josh to. It was just a league game against Man City, and they smashed us 5-1. And about 4-1, he's like, "Can we go home?" I said, "No, you have to stay, and you have to understand how bad it can feel to really appreciate it when it is good." And on Wednesday, being there at the stadium with Josh was magic. It was just absolute magic. And then today, even to be with Thomas came down and the three of us were there. It was, for me,
Thomas came. I'm so happy to hear that.
He managed
so it's a slog of a journey for him.
He said it was done 90 minutes on the train in the end, so it wasn't too bad.
Probably quicker than you, mate.
I know, tell me about it. I was like, fucking hell. I know I had a harder journey than that. But anyway, was really emotional even last week when we recorded.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'd kind of made my peace with us not winning because I'm used to it. It's become kind of part of being a Tottenham fan. We don't have nice things.
Yeah.
But I really wanted it so badly for our kids because they didn't really have a choice. Once they decided they liked football, they were always going to be Tottenham fans because of us. And so I feel an obligation to them that they should experience the highs as well as the lows. And they finally did. And we could talk about it a little bit as we'll go through the match and then talk about afterwards. But both of them said, and I felt a little bit the same, didn't know what to do or feel after the match. It was like they were just numb because it's such a completely new experience for them.
I was the same. And it was weird, right? We get into the game, but I'll fast forward to probably the last half an hour, and I just started to look at I started to look at it in chunks. I started to say, right, 5 minutes, done. 10 minutes, done. Now we've got 15. And it was like, all right, 10 minutes to go. Then the clearance from Van der Ven.
I was the same. I was chunking the game like exactly the same. Like I was like, well, that's we're halfway there. We're halfway there.
Yeah.
And it was like, 60 minutes. It's only 21 minutes to go. It was like that. Yeah. And then that 7 minutes of time added on was like 2 lifetimes.
Yeah.
I felt physically sick and I felt like time stopped. There's video of me and Josh in that last couple of minutes.
Yeah. You sent it.
But the bit before the whistle go, after the whistle go, it's just 2 really, really ugly cries. But the bit before that is that you can see the anxiety and it's the stress. It was just so much. But Jesus, what a game.
So it was this moment, and I'm so happy how it all played out with who I watched with, where I was stood, and the people I was around. Because I called you a few times. Did I do a video call with you in the pub? Did you see how busy it was?
2 or 3 times, yeah.
Yeah. I remember doing it. It was so...
We spoke before the game when me and Josh were in the kebab shop. And then we spoke at half time.
Yeah.
I don't think if I spoke to you on the way back down the high street or not, I can't remember. And then we spoke on the train on the way back.
Yeah, that was it. At the pub, it was fucking rammed. Like, it was one of those where if you needed to go to the toilet, it had to be a strategic, you're going to need a map decision. And I needed to go right before the game started, 10 minutes before. I turned to my mate and he goes, just go now and be boisterous as you go through the crowd. This is the only way to do it. You won't get back in time otherwise. So I did. Everyone was very nice.
It's like Australian rules.
Yeah, exactly right. It was elbows out. Sorry. I'm really sorry. But yeah, the end of the game, I just kept my mate Chris next to me, who's a Tottenham lifer. He's lived here for 20 some years, was a season league older. His dad's still got goes regularly, and I just kept squeezing his arm, like just grabbing him, and just like, oh my God. And then it was like, when the whistle went, I actually didn't cheer. I just cried. Cried.
We were the same. We just just hugged strangers. We were really lucky that we were in the stadium in a really good, and about 30 rows back from in the West Lower. So like behind the dugouts, if you like. I can't really call them a dugout anymore because there's room for about 400 people, right? But,
it's like an aircraft,
yeah. But and then the screens were right in front of us. But we were just surrounded by the nicest people. But there's a bunch of like 20-something lads next to us who were really anxious, but they were really nice guys. There was people behind us we were chatting to, and there was older guy sat next to Josh, kept talking to us. There was a Asian family sat in front of us. There was about 6 of them all together. But it was the nicest atmosphere because everyone was kind of willing it to happen. It was really cool. And then at the end, where I saw people taking photographs to try and make sure that I helped them to make sure that everybody was in the photo, not that one of them was taking it. We did 3 or 4 of those where families were trying to take like a group shot with the pitch invasion behind them.
Yeah.
And I was taking photographs for them, and then someone took a photo of me and Josh as well. So I was so grateful. It was just the atmosphere was amazing.
Oh, look. I mean, and on the pitch invasion, and I empower our listeners to try and find it, but there's like footage around of the announcer. We've got a Premier League game against Brighton on Sunday. Please get off the pitch.
It wasn't the motivation he thought it was.
Well, we've got to probably put our punditry hat on, I suppose, and review the game as a whole. I thought the first half, I don't know how you saw it, but it was weird because it felt cagey, but I still felt we were willing to have a go. Like, even though we didn't have a great deal of the ball, we seemed to be willing. It wasn't backs to the wall from minute one.
No.
It seemed like from the first minute in the first half, we were like, okay, let's have a go. And I think it was not that quite early on to the game where Johnson beat his man down the right. Yeah. And I thought, okay, he's having him. But yeah, I thought it was, as you'd maybe expect, a cagey affair somewhat, but we seemed to have a bit of a way about us. I just felt we would score.
I think we were very workmanlike. Right?
Yes.
We had a very solid midfield with a lot of running in it. I really think Amorim set the team up wrong as well. Because he had...
Why wasn't Garnacho starting for him? As soon as he came on,
he was dangerous the minute he came on. And also, Fernandes was playing deep with Casemiro, and he just wasn't in the game. He never got past that midfield 3.
Do you think Fernandes was deep because of how we set up, though? I mean, Sarr was just running
maybe, but he's much more dangerous in advanced positions. Like he had that late run, didn't he? Where I think he had a shot and it went wide. He looks much more dangerous, but he's horrible. He's a horrible bloke.
Yeah.
Just absolute shit house he is. I really don't like him at all. He was the theatrics, the dive in, the complaint to ref.
Constant, wasn't it?
Horrible.
Well, the best thing about the goal was, which we get to now, Son started that move with the interception. He intercepted the pass from Bruno. Yeah. And that goes a little bit overlooked. So he started it and he fucking finished it with the assist. Yeah. And the run, I tell you what I really liked about that goal, the run from Bentancur, and he points to Richarlison, put it fucking there, and then he pings it back out. It was such a really well-worked goal. Yeah. And he pings it back out to Sarr. And I just thought, whip it now, whip it.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Like, yeah. I'd said to the guys next to me, I really fancy Brennan Johnson 2-foot tap in for the win. And as soon as it happened, they were like, you bloody called it as well.
Yeah. Well, and it was a strange one because scrappy goal, yes, you could argue, but for us in the pub, I don't know how it was for you watching it, but it almost happened in slow motion that it had gone in.
Yeah, it went in installments, yeah. But I'm pretty sure, I know it was given to Brennan Johnson, but I'm pretty sure it went off Luke Shaw's arm.
Yeah, it did. 100%. It did.
He got across the front of him, didn't he, as well? So.
Well, it was akin to centre forward run, like the instinctiveness to get across your man.
And let's be honest, why was Luke Shaw picking him up on that post? He's the wrong side, wouldn't he? He should have been one of the centre mids, centre defenders. Sorry.
Yeah, and another player I mentioned at the moment, and and you've got it as Romero was Renfrey and Maguire's head, which was brilliant. But also, what was brilliant from Romero, I don't know if you've seen the footage, but at half time when the whistle goes, he gathers everybody before they go off into the changing room to do like a huddle and a speech. I don't know what he said, but I thought his leadership was excellent on the night.
Yeah.
Thought he was brilliant.
He didn't get a yellow card either. I thought it was probably one of his strongest performances in a Spurs shirt. He's a real big game player, isn't he?
Look, he seems to me, he strikes me as a winner. He's a winner. And I've just, because my phone was bloody low on battery, I've just plugged it in because I want to pull up. We're talking about like who we beat. And I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a tweet doing the rounds. And I said it to my mate and he said 100% correct. And I'll just read it for you. But it's essentially the history of us against Man United. It says, it's not that long, but that was for Pedro Mendes. That was for that ridiculous Nani goal on Howard fucking Webb. That was for Gary Neville's round of golf. That was for trying to nick our song. That was for Ben Foster and his fucking iPod. That was for that smug twat on the Wembley Park steps in 2009 who didn't bother staying for the trophy presentation because it's only the League Cup. That was for nicking our best players for the best part of the 90s and thousands. That was for lads, it's Tottenham. You're goddamn right that is.
I like that.
I mean, just all of it. All of it. Just absolutely brilliant. And then
I listened to a really good pod on the way to the match. It was the Podding and Podspur.
Oh, yeah.
The preview one that Ian does. Shout out to Ian. It was a cracking listen where he listened to both the Man U and Spurs podcasts just to see the difference in the sentiment. And he was like, they were overconfident, thinking that because they always win, that they were going to win. There was that real, but he did think that they were a bit anxious. They were maybe a bit more worried than they would give. It was all bravado, I think. But in the end,
never once really, right? You could argue, yes, we defended for our lives and we dug in deep, but never once did they. I mean, you had the Vicario save from the Luke Shaw header. I don't recall a moment in the game where they opened us up with intricately passing. I don't recall a game where they got in really behind. It was just lumped balls into the box.
They weren't even very effective on corners, were they?
I mean,
or set pieces. They had a lot of set pieces against us, but they never really made them count. Hoyland, it was awful.
Yeah.
It literally was a waste of oxygen.
But just because I said before we recorded, and I'm keen to get your views in a moment on where you've been today, but I've just been watching the parade. And I touched on it in the last episode when Man United came out and said, even if we win it, we're just having a barbecue. It's like, fuck off. I want this so badly. Because
there was hundreds of thousands of Spurs fans.
I've just read reports, 250,000 there.
I can believe it as well, having been amongst them.
Yeah.
It was really something.
Absolutely insane. I mean, and then just going back to the experience I had, obviously it was a 5 a.m. kickoff, decided to watch in the pub, but made the very late call during the day, and it was a great idea by my mate. He's like, look, there's a hotel literally opposite the pub. Rather than getting like a 2 a.m. Uber from home, because we live a bit further out from the city, why don't we book the hotel room on points, because we both got points through Qantas. It's free, and it was only like 24,000 points. And then that way we can get some extra sleep, and then we'll feel a bit better when we get into the pub. And I was like, great shout. So we did that. So we met up in the city about 8:30, and then we had just 2 beers, very sensible, in the pub in the hotel. Went to bed about 10:30. Got decent shut eye actually. Set my watch alarm to go off at 2:55 to 3. Did a quick snooze, got out of bed about 15:15. Showered just to freshen up. And then, literally walked across the street, and we're in the pub by 20 to 4. And I didn't start with beer because I'm like, no, I've just woken up, it don't sit right. So he had a Diet Coke, I had a Red Bull, and then I had some water, and then it wasn't until about 4:30 we got a beer. And when we got in, it was busy, but then I thought, fucking hell, it got busier and busier and busier. When we scored, just absolute limbs. I ended up on the floor. Don't quite know how that happened, but I ended up just on the floor and had to be picked up. Just insane. And then to fast forward to the end, and then obviously it kicked on a bit. I messaged my mate Gareth. He actually watched the game at home, but he jumped in an Uber straight away, got to the pub, and then it just progressed on. And then it got to about 8:45 in the morning, and it was still really busy, and the security came over to us, very nice, and they were like, look, we need to turn staff over, and this place is a fucking mess, and it needs to be cleaned and sorted out for the actual day, so we're closing for an hour or so, you're going to have to ask you to leave. We'd recommend there's a 24-hour pub, like 500 metres that way. So about 300 Spurs fans walking into this pub, and the poor barman was like, what? 9:30 in the morning on a Thursday.
Breakfast
He's
beers
like,
all round.
oh my God. He's just like, what the hell is going on? Amazing day. And then it just kicked on and on and on. And then even we're in an Uber, me and Gareth on the way back, and we live in the same neighbourhood. He goes, let's go get some beers from the shop. Let's go back to mine. And it just carried on. And then I walked in the door. I don't even know what time it was. I looked at Lindsay and I went, apparently I said something along the lines of, I'm not dressing this up any other way than it is. I'm going to bed. It was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. You did not invade the pitch, right?
No, I don't know what it is. I've got this horrible feeling that I'd be the only person to be barred from the club for doing it. Like I'd get,
you'd be the one.
It'd be sod's law that I'd be the one. Yeah, I'd be that 3 stewards would wrestle me to the ground, and I'd lose my season ticket. So, and also I'm getting a bit old to climb over over the hoardings.
Don't hurt yourself.
Put a hip out or something. I ended up getting the last train by 30 seconds. I got the last train at Waterloo, and I think the train got in about 12:30. So I was home about 1, but I couldn't sleep. Not a chance. I think I ended up getting to sleep about 2, and then I was up at 6 for work, and I had zero interest in work all day yesterday. Mate. But I had so much to do, but I just was like, no.
My Friday at work, and I was similar, I had a fair bit on because I'd taken obviously the Thursday off, and my boss messaged me on Teams. He's a lovely bloke actually, he's a Liverpool fan, so he gets it. And he just put, how are you? And it was like 9:30, and I was like, just about alive. He goes, we've got a scheduled meeting, just you and I. I'm cancelling it until Monday. I was like, thank you. Yeah. So great day, great few days. Still going for me, still going for you, you know. And then I've got the parade to go and finish in a moment. But look, and I'm yet to see the interviews with the players. I've yet to hear Andrew's speech, but he can't leave. He can't leave. He can't be sacked.
I think I said on Blue Sky, I think on Wednesday night, if our motto really is to dare is to do, no one embodies that more than him.
Correct.
So either he stays and he gets another crack, and you wait till you hear his speech, you will love it.
Okay.
Or we need to change our motto, because if we don't take a punt on it again, then we're not living up to that, are we?
The motto may as well be then, let's do the same thing again to achieve fuck all.
Yeah.
I can't see a change being made. I just can't. You can't.
I think he's almost daring them, isn't he? I think as well. A couple of things he said since the match. And
it's interesting in his, it was post-match interview. I've watched so much footage, but there was one, it might have been when it was with Cara and Rio Ferdinand and such in the studio, or maybe it was when he was hot all bail. Anyway, but he said something along the lines of, in January, this became the focus. And I think he said something along the lines of, not everybody in the club brought into that or agreed with that. But that was the focus. And I don't know who that was, but that was, you're putting your bollocks on the line, right? You're saying, this is it. This is what we're going for. And he makes a great point. He could have finished third and we win nothing.
Again.
Like them up the road.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change the narrative, you know?
No. I think that's one of the things in all of his speeches after the match. It's look, we've built something here. We've got a team of players who know what it feels like to win. And we haven't had that for a long time. And collectively as well. So it's a strong base to start a build again, isn't it? We need to not. I think that's the problem, isn't it? Even if you think back to 2019, we had a really good run, but ultimately we didn't win. And so
it was almost like we won it in the semi, and then we were given watches by leading.
That was our trophy.
Yeah.
But this felt very different, and he is the single most self-aware and self-confident person I think that I've ever come across. Total belief, total unwillingness to bend or change, and I think that it rubs off on people. I mean, he's not the put your arm around everyone and talk, be mates with the players kind of guy, but they respect him, and you can see that they all absolutely worship him. They'd do anything for him.
Yep. And I've got to my right here, like I touched on before we came on air, and the listeners can't see it, but it's the Herald Sun. I don't ever buy a newspaper, but we made the front page, all focused obviously around Ange particularly. Then there's a great 2-page spread that I read yesterday just about his journey, and it gets me a bit emotional thinking about that even, because here's an immigrant kid who came from Greece to Australia and was told his whole life, even in the school playground, we don't play that kind of football here. We don't do that here. That's not going to work. And then he broke into playing, and then he got into coaching, and everywhere he was, that won't work. That won't work. And then he's gone to Japan, he's gone to Scotland, and all the things he's achieved, he's always been told, you won't do that. That won't work.
Yeah.
And he's been exactly the same from the media in England. I think he's been treated at times absolutely appallingly, and fucking fair play to him when he stood up for himself and said, I'm not a clown. I'm not a clown.
Yeah.
And that is a terrible use of that word. How dare you? Fair play to him, I hope, I said to my mate, and it may well happen because where he's from, I hope one day I get to meet him and shake his hand and give him a hug, buy him a beer, say thank you. Thank you. Because I hope this isn't the end. I hope this is the beginning of a very new, exciting chapter. But this is all he ever delivers us. I'll give that man a hug.
It would have been enough. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the trophy's amazing. 2 things. We're in the Super Cup.
Oh yeah,
we're in pot 1 in the Champions League.
Yeah, we've already started thinking about how to get to Udinese. Something I wanted to point out as well, which was funny as fuck, is the fact that they ran out of winners' medals, and the third person up was Reguilon, who wasn't even registered in the squad.
Ball.
He wasn't even registered in the squad.
Well, on that, so I read there's a BBC article about it, and UEFA have come out, because if you look at Ange's face during the presentation, if you watch it back, he's pretty pissed off that happened. There are actually 50 medals that the club gets. So they have more than enough. They just hadn't brought enough of them to the fucking stage to give to us. And then I saw Ceferin turn and look quite embarrassed because it was Sonny and Romero and Benton. I didn't get one, I think. Yeah. And then they got them afterwards. They brought them to the dressing room, but that is shocking. Like, why wouldn't you have all? Because they were trying to put it back on the club, saying, well, we didn't expect all of the injured players. Yeah, but you had enough medals. Like, you should have just had them all. Because there's no hard and fast rule about who gets one. It's up to the club. So you get given 50, you do what you want with them. So absolutely.
It was funny.
Yeah, very, very funny. But
I think
amazing.
It's fair to say they had a good night as well. Apparently it finished about 7.
There's various pictures circulating. There's one of Romero.
Absolutely his tits, isn't he? So funny. It
still feels...
There's another one. I think it's Vicario's being interviewed in the zone, and Bissouma goes with this massive speaker, like dancing and singing along behind him. It's like, what the... The guy's a fucking fruitcake.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
God. Just so happy. I'm so happy for Sonny. And to be honest, I turned to my mate, even when Sonny came on, my mate started crying.
We didn't talk about that, right? It's a big call. That's a big call for that match, to leave your captain on the bench.
I think when he looked at it, holistically, he said, I'm sure, if Sonny can't give me 120 minutes, then I'm not going to start him. Because there's no way you can start him and then lose him after an hour. The way it played out was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
And
Richarlison ran himself into the ground, didn't he?
Ran into, and I'll tell you another player that did, well, they all did, but Dom Solanke, if anyone checked on his well-being, he was dead.
Yeah. Sarr as well covered every blade of grass.
Well, that bit of footage, and again, I empower our listeners to try and find it, but there's a lovely piece of footage where Sarr just can't watch, and as the final whistle's approaching,
he's sat with his back to the match, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, the Brighton game, like, who even plays? Like, does it go the other way? Do you think some of these players might play because they're just high on life, and they might go in putting amazing performances?
None of them are in the England squad. So I'm sure some of them, others will go off to international duty, but like Solanke was dropped for Ivan Toney.
I saw that. Disgrace. Ivan Toney's playing in bloody
Absolute
Saudi.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
by the way, while we're on that, no Adam Wharton, Henderson again. What the fuck?
Yeah. He tried to justify Tony because he scored a lot of goals and he's won the Asian Cup or whatever it was. I'm like, he's playing in Saudi.
Yeah.
No, it's not comparable. Anyway, I'm very quickly turning off of England games.
Yeah. Good job, Tottenham are good again.
Exactly.
But Brighton, I think we will probably see Kingsley start.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he will change that. And I didn't know this. I'd missed this. And I did question this a few episodes ago on why all of a sudden Dane Scarlett's disappeared. I missed this entirely. He had groin surgery. Hernia. Yeah. So he's fit. He was on the bench for the final, so he could feature.
I'm not sure if he could start, but yeah.
Mikey Moore, he'll play. Guaranteed he'll play. Archie Gray should, you would think. But
how close do you think Bergvall is?
It would be nice for him to make the bench and at least get some minutes.
Yeah.
But again...
Reguilon, last farewell?
Reggie, actually, I did think that. Reggie may well play, yeah. He started the other time, didn't he? So he may well start. But, look, on the one hand...
by the way, I think that there's another thing next season, right? Danso came on and we played a 5 for that last period. It really worked.
Yeah.
He's a strong player and he gives us something a bit different.
What about the other end of the pitch though, when he almost got on the end of that ball?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it was quite late on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like millimetres.
Yeah, wow.
But look, the Brighton game, it doesn't matter. We all know that. It would be nice to win still because it would be nice to have it. We finish with a win, and
the atmosphere would be good.
The stadium will be pumping. Like, it'll be absolutely rocking. It's a 1 a.m. kickoff for me, early as Monday. I think I'm just going to get back up and watch it because I really do. I think I want to watch it.
Yeah.
My hope is that Sky Television pick it up as one of the games that they do, or all of them, because they're all simultaneous. There's quite a bit riding on Champions League, right? Everyone's been relegated, the title's done. It's a dead rubber, really, but just from an atmosphere perspective, I hope you get to see it. You'll find a way anyway.
Yeah. Because, of course, we're not going because your cousin's taking this. He gets...
Cousin going to take a ticket. I'm going to say, I'm sure you have. I'm actually going, funnily enough, I'm going to the different code of football today. I'm going to the AFL game again with my mate Neil, he's a lovely man. He loves sport. He's pushing 80. He's a good mate of mine. I used to work with him and he's just great value. So, I'll be going to the different code, but I'll be wearing Spurs colours. I haven't stopped. I've got the Tottenham jumper on. And there was Liam yesterday. He goes, are you going to wear a Tottenham something for like every few days for it? And I go, mate, like, every day I'm repping.
Even I'm still.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I liked, and I hadn't seen these, they've been popping up, is the retro striped shirt. I've not seen that one before. Like,
you mean the Holston one?
No.
Hummel.
This looks like something from like the 50s. It's like something they were wearing in the 50s or late 50s, 60s. It's got the Tottenham old style badge, and it's literally blue and white stripes. I don't know when we wore it, but there was a few wearing it on the stage for who were playing in the band on the parade. I just noticed.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I tell you, excuse me, I'm yawning. I'm so tired.
No. Quarter to midnight for you. Brilliant.
The one that I really love the final tracksuit.
Yes, the THFC. Yeah.
But it's not. I don't think it's available. They're not selling it. They're missing a trick because it would go like wildfire if they did sell it.
Yeah, but no, amazing few days. Still on cloud nine. Still can't quite believe it. We've got to still do an end of season pod review, and I've got to say, for our listeners, it's been a slog. This season has been a slog, right? It's been a slog at times, particularly for fans going, paying their money to go, like yourself, Graham, or others that listen, or you're getting up at God o'clock, like I do, and it's been for a lot of shit. And the other thing that we've had to pick ourselves up from the floor each time is to record, and I'm not going to dress it up in any other way. It's hard when it's been rubbish. It's been really hard and we've remained consistent, and we wanted to do that. And I think this is are we at episode 50 yet?
This is 49, so 50 will be our end of season one.
Perfect. So
it's
a slog, but it's been great fun. We'll cover more of this in the end of season one we do, but it makes it all worth it. It makes it all worth it.
I sent you a spreadsheet that I pulled together with the help of AI. Just to give, I mean, we've had players who've played 50 matches this season, and even young players who've played 40 matches. I think, over 40 matches, and so great experience. I think I've seen a couple of articles talking about what the club thinks they need for next season, which is some experienced heads.
Would you on that? And this is probably saved for it. Maybe we'll do one during the transfer window or the pre-season. I heard one in a group I'm in, Luka Modric on a 1-year deal.
I'd have him. Yeah, now.
Think how much the likes of Bergvall could learn from him.
Yeah, and actually.
And watching him for Real Madrid when he features, he don't look the age he is.
No, I mean, absolutely not. Yeah,
I'd take him all day long.
Yeah, be like Edgar Davids.
Yeah, just a player like that, but probably for another episode to really review on what we need. The one thing I will say on that though is Ange came out and said, "This is a young squad. We know we need a bit of experience in there." So they're already thinking like that.
And let's be honest, we started the season I think we bought well. I think on the balance of it.
Tell will sign now. We keep Tell.
I think so. Yeah. I think the players that we've got, we bought some decent players. We just didn't buy enough. The volume of players was an issue because we had 11 out and about 5 in. So we had a lot of young players. So even, the people that came in and played even bit parts like Lancashire played, Mikey Moore played some matches. Then, of course, probably wouldn't have expected Bergvall and Archie Gray to play as many matches as they did this season either. But because of injuries, they played a lot. So
incredible, absolutely incredible. Just going back to the game of my experience, just a shout out to like how it all played out for me, because there's another mate who actually, Matt, who took a ticket when he was visiting, and we sorted out. I can't remember which game it was now, but it was a while back. And we kept in touch. We had lunch a couple of weeks ago, and he was on the fence about coming to the pub, and he did. And then, like, my other mate, who also is a Matt, he came, and he's just had a baby. He's got like a 6-week-old, and he's made it happen. And then his mate Jack, who I know, and then my mate Chris. And there was just this core of us in the spot being bumped around because it was shoulder to shoulder, but wouldn't have changed it for the world. Like, who I watched with, who I experienced with. Amazing. Like, it was meant to be how it played out.
So I think the one thing that I was disappointed with on Wednesday was that it was a fantastic game with Josh, and it's something that football's something that we've always had together, and it's kind of something that has been our bonding thing, and I've always really loved sharing that with him, and it was really emotional. But it was a shame that Thomas couldn't come as well. And we're kind of like the Three Musketeers. Like it feels like we should do it together. So I was gutted for him because he had someone let him down on the day that he was supposed to be watching the match with, which is a pretty shitty thing to do. But he's got a really good mate, James. He's a Notts County fan, but he's a lovely kid. And he went with him. So at least he watched it with someone. And he had a great time. He met a bunch of Tottenham supporters who live in Nottingham. But I spoke to him afterwards, but I felt like I really missed him being there. So today was the best. And he managed to get the afternoon off, and the three of us went and watched the parade together. I mean, a lot of journeying for about 10 seconds of the bus going past. But it felt right, It was like we completed life today.
Oh, brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
And just to spend the time with the two of them, it was special. And I feel now, if we never win another trophy, the fact I've been able to do that with them was good.
Well, it's like the old man, you know. I won't get too much into it, but for one reason or another, we haven't been speaking as much as maybe we should have, and that kind of changed when the game started and we FaceTimed, and then we spoke at half time, and then when we won, it was like he was on his own, he was on the couch in his flat, and he was up. I mean, he was up dancing, and it was fantastic to have him. I was holding the phone, FaceTime, all my mates, I was showing him the pub. He was crying, I was crying. And his brother died, where the Brighton tickets are going to Shalene, her dad Stuart, my uncle Stuart, he died 6 weeks before the Champions League final, had stomach cancer. And my dad, my uncle Stuart had a few types of cancer actually. He had leukemia many years ago. And my dad was the match for the bone marrow. So my dad gave him his bone marrow and kept him alive. And they had a tremendous bond with Tottenham. And when I'm FaceTiming my dad, there's a shirt behind him that has Stu Pox. That's what I used to call him, with a Spurs shirt behind him. And this is for Stuart. This is for Stuart. This is for Uncle Stuart, you know. And you're up there somewhere, mate. You're looking down, and he's a lifer like I am, like you are, like my dad is, you know. And it's like my mate Chris said when we were having a beer the night before the game in the hotel bar. He said, "Do you know what I find funny, Glenn? I watched that," and he goes, "We're about to watch it in Australia. You've watched games in America." He goes, "There are people that choose to support Tottenham." He goes, "I take it you didn't get a choice." No, I did not.
It's so funny. And I think that the other thing that I found this week, not just about, I mean, we've become really good friends through purely football. Like the fact that we met because of football. No, we're friends anyway, but football's the thing that gives us the opportunity to speak regularly. And I think that's been a really powerful thing for me this year, that I feel that to spend a lot of time with you, given how far away you are, has been a real privilege for me. And I really appreciate that. But also all of the guests we've had on, the amount of little messages I've had on WhatsApp and on social media, made some really good friends through that. And I feel like the kind of community has has got stronger from it. And like it's been a lot of the season, it's been like a support group.
Therapy.
but it's been nice to share in the success with them as well. So people who listen to the pod, who reach out to me, or people we've had on as guests.
It's like throughout the last couple of days, like people like Hugh in Denver, who I know you listen, Hugh. You know, we used to watch a lot of Spurs games together, and we had a 20-minute phone call yesterday off the back of this happening, and I'm like, why don't we speak more bloody often? Like, you know, it happens, and just like it's driven that connection. And I called. I apologise again on air to you, Andrew. I called Andrew Sullivan, who we've had on. He answered, and I just went, "Andrew Sullivan, we fucking did it." And he went, "Oh yeah, Finn's in the car." I was like, "Oh, sorry." And then Steve, and I FaceTime with Steve, and then he was driving.
I got his voice message. It was nice to have one without the treadmill in the background, but all the connections, and like I said, for us personally, agreed. And then also, it almost, for me, this podcast feels like a bit of a, not a business per se, but a bit of a start-up, in that we've got a really good jumping off point now, Graham. We need to do our planning session. We need to get more professional going into the next season. We're going to have like schedules, and we're going to do it proper because we've got a good jumping off point. Yeah. It's been a real pleasure. I mean, it's been great that it's been topped with we finished it with a flourish. Yeah. Which feels like a very, very Tottenham thing. All the hard work has been worth it. Yeah. I love that one of the quotes from Ange this week is the stonecutters. I can't remember what you called it now, but it's basically like the stonecutter breaks the rock with the 100 for the thing, but you don't see the previous 100. That pretty much sums up. You know, you don't see it can be an overnight success. You don't see the work that goes on to get to that point. No, 100%. And also, before we go, I understand there's some audio bites that you've managed to pick up along the last couple of days. Yeah, I'll include them. I did me and Josh did some kind of immediate thoughts after the match on Wednesday in the stadium with the pitch invasion going on in the background. And then we recorded some audio going down the high street and on the tube from Seven Sisters on the way home as well. So There's some entertaining anecdotes in there. I might have to edit it a bit because there's a few choice words, especially on the two. I think Arsene Wenger came in for some particular, and Sol Campbell came in for some particular vitriol. But yeah, I'll try and clean it up a bit for family consumption.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I could go on for many more hours, but I've got a parade to finish to watch. You've got a bed to get to. I've then got some commitments I'm doing today. As I said, I'm going to a different type of football, the Savo. I'm very much looking forward to our end of season episode. I'm looking forward to the Brighton game. I'm looking forward to Angie's interview and comments. And you know what? I'll probably do what I did last night in bed again. At some point, I watched the whole game again on my iPad.
Yeah, I haven't gone back and watched it yet.
Yeah, just incredible scenes. Incredible.
Love it.
But yeah,
sometimes it's all worth it. All the money, all the time, all the pain,
all the tiredness, all the strange venues where I've had to record from, where Lindsay gives me a bit of an eye roll. What are you doing? We're on holiday. Like, why are you doing that?
I still like re-editing the podcast 4 times in my hotel in Dubai because there's a problem with the recording and all kinds of stuff like that. So
yeah, fantastic.
All worth it. Every minute.
All worth it. And look, as always from me, you'll hear from us again before the season is out. But as always from me, come on, you Spurs.
Thanks to everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast to tickle the algorithm so we can get in front of more Spurs supporters. And to close us out, come on, you Spurs.
So, initial thoughts. I love Brennan Johnson. I'm shaking. I'm crying. I can't believe it. I have never experienced anything like it. It's absolutely mental in the stadium. There's been a massive pitch invasion. There's more people on the pitch now than there was when they closed White Hart Lane, the old stadium. It's mental. I can't feel my hands. I cannot feel that last 15 minutes was horrific. I felt ill the whole time. I think I pissed myself. I loved it. What a performance. It was a shit game of football. I don't care. But the effort from all the players was something else. It was really something else. That's going to go down. They've got to be careful there. Sorry? They've turned all the TVs off. Because electrics, I guess. They don't want to fry anyone. No, not in the corners as well. We can't lift it. Do you have a stream? Sorry? Do you have a stream? Yeah, probably. I'll try and call Glenn in a minute. Obviously, we spoke to him at the beginning, before the game and at half time. I haven't been able to get hold of Thomas all night. His phone's completely incognito, so I hope him and James got to watch it all right, and that they're as enjoying it as much as we are. He did say he thought there'd be a lot more Man United supporters in the pub with him than Tottenham anyway. So, but I hope they got to watch it. And for everyone else, still recording. I think. Am I still recording? Still recording. For everyone else who's been a guest on the podcast, everyone who's listened to the podcast, all of you, I really hope that you enjoyed this evening. I know how gut-wrenching it was for everybody, but finally, we've won a trophy, and what a win! We've done it. There's no screens on in the stadium. They've turned everything off, including the big ones. I think they're trying to make people go home now, so we won't even see him lift the trophy or anything, because I'm not kidding. I don't know what kind of state this pitch is going to be on Sunday for the Brighton game, but what a parade of honour that'll be. Unbelievable. Alright, well I'm going to sign off there. Maybe a little bit later we're on the train on the way home and it's a bit quieter. We can collect our thoughts a bit more. But I doubt it.
Oi! We know what we are, champions of Europe. We know what we are. You'll never see that. Champions of Europe. You'll never see that.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.
You can contact us on email at tottenhamhomeandaway@gmail.com or on Twitter X @TottenhamH&A.